Hi, Joe Murphy here. I'm back, and I want to review something that I covered last week. And it's how your brain works and how your mind works. And I want to talk about getting control of your mind. Now, last week I want to do from that session, I want to do a recap. So for those of you who missed it, this is the recap. We think, how many thoughts per day do you imagine? Guess. We're wrong. Here it is. We, according to different studies, think 70,000 thoughts per day. Now, I've seen some other studies that said we only do 6,000 thoughts per day. Well, 6,000, 70,000, I don't know what a thought is exactly. But the people who measure these things come up with 70,000 or 6,000. But that is not the issue that I want to talk to you about today. The issue, recapping from last week, if you remember, is how many of those thoughts are recurring. That is, how many of them are old thoughts that just get recycled over and over again. Would you believe 95% of the thoughts that we're thinking today are the same thoughts we thought yesterday, and the same thoughts that we did the day before, and the day before, and the day before? 95%. All right. Second big issue is how many of these thoughts have negative content? What's the percentage? Wrong. It's 80%. Unless you watched the program last week. 80% of the thoughts that we have some form of negative content. They're repeating negative content, and we're doing it over and over again. Now, this is stressing your mind out. This is stressing the mind that's connected to the body, and it's stressing you out. I want to talk to you about getting control over your mind. And I called this the new mental diet. Not that there's an old one, but it's the new mental diet. We go on diets all the time, but that's for our body. We want to lose weight. In this particular case, we want to lose these recurring thoughts and stop being so stressed out, especially because of the negative content. That's what we want to do. We want to shed the pounds for physical weight, but we want to shed the negativity of our thoughts so that we can enjoy life. Our lives and how we make the world or see the world is dependent upon how we think. If you think bad thoughts, you're going to have simply a projection of bad thoughts out onto your life. And if you don't believe me, it is true. You can do the research yourself. The happiest people in the world have more good thoughts than bad thoughts. So I want to talk to you about getting rid of these negative thoughts and coming up with a plan so that you can take over your thinking. Now, I embarked on this journey some 30 years ago, and I read it from Brian Tracy. And it didn't occur to me that this was an issue. But so many people that I've talked to in my Leadership Academy classes, when I do these sessions with 150 people or 70 people in them, we go over this information. And I ask people, how many people have a set routine when they go to bed and what time they wake up? And very few people have set routines. But I've noticed the more successful people seem to have set routines. They go to bed at a certain hour. Now, here's what happens. People say, several people said on the Leadership Academy program, say, well, I want to get the kids to bed at a certain time. They need a set routine. And then I just want to relax. So sometimes I don't go to bed for another hour or 2 hours, depending on what's on TV. And what happens after my program, people go, well, I do this for my children to go to bed at 9 o'clock or 9:15. They have a set routine. They get up at a certain hour, they go to bed at a certain hour, so that they have knowledge that this is the routine and it's for their health. And one woman said, why wouldn't I do this for myself? There was the big aha for everybody on the call. And that's the beauty of these Leadership Academy sessions, where people actually start talking And the advice comes from others often, not from me. So, what time is good for you to go to bed? Typically, it's by 10 p.m. Saturday or Sunday, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. or before. Now, many of you are going to say, no, I got to see what's on at 11 p.m. I got to see the news. That's my routine. For the next half hour, I'm going to get programmed with all this bad news right before I go to bed. Now, if you studied the brain, what the hour before bed, or at least the half hour before bed, your brain wavelengths are at optimal performance so that you can program your mind for success. In other words, you can start having good thoughts. Now, what you're doing instead is you're programming your mind when it's optimal performance for reprogramming is for bad thoughts, because there's nothing good on the news. There is nothing good on the news. It's the same gas station down the block, and your brain repeats it over and over again as if it is occurring in your house. It doesn't know. It just reads it, puts it in, and stresses your body out. This is true. And so what I'm telling you to go do is go to bed at 10 p.m. Shut off your phone, shut off your iPad at 9 p.m. And this, I know people are now really stressing out, aren't you? Because your body and the blue wavelengths that, I think it's the blue wavelengths that are coming, the blue light waves that are coming from the iPad and phone are interfering with your sleep. Now, during my session, several women said, I like to have a glass of wine before I go to bed. This is another problem because it knocks them out and they become dependent on the wine. And if you don't believe me, you can go to AA and you can find out how many women were drinking wine before they went to bed. And it catches up on you. It sneaks up on you. You better watch out if you're doing this. This is a bad habit. This is creating a dependency need. So shut off your phone, your iPhone, or your Droid, or whatever you have. Shut off the TV. If you can. And I know it's hard. It's hard for me too. I'm not going to lie. But this is interfering with your sleep. You've got to go to bed, if you can, by 9:30. When your kids go to bed, if you've got kids, you go to bed 10 minutes later. Okay? Second thing, you got to wake up at a set time. Now, if you're going to bed at 10 p.m., 6 a.m., that's 8 hours sleep. Most people don't need 8 hours sleep. They've been conditioned. I know all the doctors and people are going to say, no, you need your 8 hours. No, you don't. There's a lot of people who are very smart people, 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Now, I am not saying this to make you only have 4 to 5 hours of sleep. However, you may be one of these people that have programmed yourself to sleep full 8 hours and you don't need it and you're waking up more tired than you need to be. So, to get control of your mind, let me give you this probably all-important fact, and I've given you several here, is when you get up, the first hour is called the golden hour. It's called the golden hour. Henry Ward Beecher calls this the rudder of your day. What you do with the first hour often determines your entire day. This first hour, the golden hour, I want you to read. Now, that do not turn on your iPhone yet or your iPad. Get a book and read something inspirational, educational, motivational, or spiritual. Those are the 4 L's because they end in AL. Educational, motivational, spiritual, what did I say? Okay, educational. I think I got them all. But these, and if you read and lean into them and you take notes, that's the last aspect. By hand, not with the computer, with a pen or a pencil. Now, I've got a pen right here. This is my magic pen. I've had this for 30 years, or one like it. And I've got notebooks full of information. It'll change your life. It'll change the trajectory of your life going like this, and it'll go up. Your happiness equation, your positivity equation, you'll start living in what I call a plus 24 state. What do I mean by plus 24 state? A positive 24-hour state because of this 1 hour. I got so excited 30 years ago, 28 years ago when I first started doing this. I said, wow, I just felt everything start to ping, 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 ping. And I started getting up and started doing 2 hours. Now, I still do this. No matter what country I am, what vacation I'm on, I get up an hour, 2 hours early to read. It's changed my life. It's taken me from poverty to whatever I am. It just changed everything. And I'm giving this advice to you to get hold of your life, change your life, do these things, and you will be shocked 6 months from now, the drastic life occurrences and how much better you feel every single day. I'm Joe Murphy. I'm here for your success.